Hey guys, I'm Chris and this is BustedKnuckleDIY, and today we're going to take a look at our fancy washing machine that needs a little help. Let's get wrenching.
Oh hell, I can fix that. Honey! Can you bring me a Band-Aid, please?
Alright guys, so we've got this GE glass top agitatorless washer, and over the course of the last year or so it's developed a pretty intermittent problem of coming up and saying H2O supply. Normally you just power it down, power it back up, and it goes on and does its thing, but here recently it's got to the point where it doesn't even want to complete a cycle. So I'm going to show you a couple of quick tricks to diagnose a problem like this and hopefully get it working again, because Mrs. Busted Knuckle really likes her washing machine. Let's get wrenching. Alright, so anytime we're going to be doing something like this, we know it's related to H2O supply, but we're going to be working on it, so we're going to go ahead and unplug it and disconnect it from the wall. We're going to go over here and shut down the water supply, both sides, hot and cold. And then we're going to go ahead and pull the drain out. Now, I probably can't do this one-handed because it's pretty stiff into the drain hose. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get that up out of there. And we're working on it. One more, there we go. All right, so now it is completely shut off here. The water's off, it's unpowered, it's disconnected from the drain. We're going to go ahead and pull it out and disconnect the supply hoses and check and make sure that we have water coming in from for the supply. So let's do that. Okay, so now we're at the back of the washing machine and I've got my Home Depot bucket down there. So we're going to see if we can get these loose. Sometimes you need to use a plier. And we're going to get our bucket down there to hopefully catch any water that's still in these lines. Just stick that in there. Let's see if we can get this other one. Looks like it. There we go. Same deal. Do our best to drain out the supply hoses and stick them down in the bucket. Okay, so at this point, what we're going to do is just crack these water supply valves and make sure that we have water coming out of our hoses. All right, we have cold water flowing, no problem. And we have hot water flowing, so. All right, that's great. That means that we don't have a problem with our supply coming in from the water lines. So the next thing that we're going to want to do is on the back side of these where the hoses hook up, you can see there's little screens in there, and we're going to check and make sure they're not stopped up. No, these are nice and clean. So we're going to have to take this bad boy apart and do a little more exploratory surgery, and I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, now that we're back here behind, this is a very, very easy process on this specific washing machine. It's a little different for each one, but we're going to take our ratchet with a 1/4-inch socket, and remove the 2 screws here. And they're very long screws. All right, now that we remove those, you can see this back plate moves. We're going to shift it sideways with a little slider, so we're going to go that way and just take it off. Set it off to the side over here. Now, underneath here, there's one thing that you need to note. Next, this little orange hose here. It hooks up on this nub in the back of the circuit board. We're going to disconnect that because it's going to come off anyway. Okay, and just remember that it goes on that. It's for one of the sensors. Okay, so to access all of this stuff here with our water valve assembly, what we need to do is pull backwards on the upper shroud and then kind of roll it forward and lift it off out of there. And there we go, that's gone. This is a large capacitor to fire the main motor. We're just going to take take it out of its clip and get it out of the way. Okay, so what we're looking for here now, guys, is we got water supply. So here's our inlets, and we have 4 valves in here, each one with their own little solenoid that actuates and pulls the valve open. My guess would be, because we're on a well, that some sediment has gotten through the screens. They're nice and clean, but on the inside of this, micro sediment is built up and is stopping one of these valves from working. So, but first thing we're going to do is check all the connections, make sure the plugs are nice and tight. All of that looks good. We don't have any cut wires. Furthering our little surgery here, we're going to go ahead and unhook this and take this valve off and see if we can find out if one of these little valves is stuck on the inside. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do here is unhook all of the electrical. Just give those a good wiggle and a pull and they come off. There's that, and one more here facing upwards. And we'll just move our control panel out of the way. And there were 3 screws, 1, 2, 3. They're also 1/4 inch. That hold this water valve assembly down. Okay, those are out. This literally just lifts off now. Give it a little rock, and there you have it. All right, so to test these valves, guys, they're spring-loaded. You can reach down in here and push on them. And like that one right there is really kind of questionable, to be honest. It is working. That one's working good. That one's working okay. That one's not bad. This one, on the other hand, this end one is kind of sticky. Now, sadly, as you can see here, this is a sealed unit. It's not meant to be disassembled. So I really think our H2O supply problem is coming from this valve sticking. So we're going to go ahead and replace this whole unit. Now, you just saw me take it out. It's super easy. We're just going to grab a new one and throw it on here and see if that doesn't cure our woes. I do believe it will, since this valve is functioning slowly, if it's functioning fully at all. And so here you are, a genuine GE replacement part. And this was not that expensive, guys. This is not a cheap washing machine by any stretch. This part was 50 bucks. As you can see, it comes complete. The solenoids are all there, O-rings are all there, so literally it's just a matter of taking it out of the box and installing it. So we're going to line up our little orange O-rings and just work that valve assembly in place there. There we go. We've got our 3 screws that hold it down. They're much shorter. So we'll go ahead and screw that in. Sorry for all the wobbles of hand filming. There's not enough room behind the washing machine for me and the tripod. Alright, so we've screwed that down. Like I said, all that's nice and sturdy. Those are supposed to wiggle, by the way, guys. So we'll reconnect our electrical. Pay attention to where the little prongs are in there, and be sure to get those back over the electrical connectors of the solenoids. And the last one. Alright, and then we'll go ahead and stick our big capacitor back in there. And again, the top section of this is pretty simple, guys. Like I said, you can see these little L-shaped feet. There, they drop into those slots. So once we have that, then you can take the whole assembly and kind of push down and forward. And that locks that back in. Remember our little orange hose that we disconnected? It was going to come off anyway, so see if I can get you a view of that there. Right, and that just pushes up on there. Okay, so all of that's in. The valve is replaced. It's screwed down. The electrical's hooked up. The top's back in place. So all we have to do now is put our back plate on. and put our 2 big screws back in, and we're ready to go ahead and hook this thing back up and give it a try. Alright guys, so it's back in. We've restored our power, we've hooked up the drain. Now we're going to turn the water back on. Open these valves all the way, and then turn them back, oh, I don't know, quarter turn. There we are. And yeah, so let's throw something in here and give it a quick test. Alright guys, it works. It's actually like a month and a half later. We haven't had any more problems with the H2O supply on this, so changing out that valve body was just what this thing needed. Hope you guys learned a few things. In the description box below, I'll put our email address and links to the Facebook page if you want to check us out. Guys, throw us a like, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, and until next time, this is Chris for Busted Knuckle DIY saying, keep wrenching.